In this video, I will show you how I am using oil and turpentine brushes for Procreate. Those are default brushes already in the app, so you don't have to purchase anything. For the shape, I will be using one of my pre-drawn monstera leaves. And first thing you need to do is turn on Alpha Lock. Now, when you have your shape. And then fill it with some sort of a base color. Doesn't really matter, I think, which shade it is, because I usually paint over it anyways. So then I take the darkest one, the darkest shade of green that I'm gonna have, and take the oil brush and just approximately place where the shadows will be, where will the darkest parts of the leaf will be, and kind of decide where the light is coming from. Here I don't pay that much attention to detail, I just roughly sketch everything out. Now I will take a lighter shade of green and repeat the whole process again. And this time I will be focusing on where we will have the most light hitting the leaf. This process is still a little bit messy and rough. I'm not focusing that much on detail still. I will be doing that a little bit later on, and I will also pick other shades of green just to build a solid base for my painting. Now I'm gonna change the shade again a little bit, and I think for this kind of work, the more different shades and tones you put in, the better and more realistic it looks. And now it's time for probably the lightest color of green that I'm going to be using. I will use it for the highlights. And now you can see that I'm still on the same layer, and I will pick the smudge tool. Choose underpainting the turpentine brush and just lightly start to smudge everything together. Just the brush strokes back and forth. I just kind of feel what works best at each part. Sometimes it's just back and forth, or sometimes it's more of a round movement. I think it's important not to press the smudge tool too much, otherwise you would just ruin the oil texture that we got from the oil brush. So just reduce the opacity, press lightly, and try to leave the beautiful brush strokes that are underneath. And this is also why I like to work on the same layer. You could choose a different layer for each color, but I like how the colors are mixing together with the oil paint and turpentine, so that's why I only use one layer. If you do attempt to try this technique, I would be very happy if you could tag me in your Instagram posts. And if you did find this video helpful, or any of my other videos, I would very much appreciate if you would subscribe to this channel. Now it's time to switch back to the oil paint brush, and I will use a darker green just to put more accent where the shadows are, color in some a little bit darker places, and just put some accent. And now I will also do it with a lighter shade of green, and it's kind of repeating all the same process I did the first time with the oil brush, but this time it's more like a layering process. Like we don't want this leaf to look like all smudged out and like unrealistic, so we kind of want to leave some sharper brush strokes. And don't be afraid to leave the brush strokes in. It can look weird at some point, but it's a painting. It doesn't have to be completely realistic, and it's just one of the techniques. Just add your style to it. And now we can get back to the smudge tool and again repeat the process of smudging, but not too much, just a little bit. And now you see we're still on the same layer, and I'm gonna take the oil brush again and start all over. And I will start with the darkest greens, but this time instead of making those rough back and forth brush strokes, I'm gonna pull it just one way. Mostly just pull it down. Kind of it creates better accent, I think, rather than just going back and forth. Like some places I'm gonna do that, but mostly just pull it one way. And now I will use the lightest of the green, almost white, for the highlights. And this is the last final step. We won't have to repeat it all over again. I will place these close to white highlights where the light reflects the most from the leaf, and that will be it. And again, I'm going to be using the brush strokes mostly, just pulling them one way, so I think it looks kind of like the single line brush stroke. So this will be it. And again, if you find this useful, I would be very happy if you would subscribe to see more future videos. Thank you.